In the 19th century, an extraordinary experiment began. A brilliant philosopher named James Mill decided he would conduct the ultimate parenting experiment. He would raise his son, John Stuart Mill, to become the most rational, the most virtuous, and fundamentally, the happiest human being the world had ever known. And by all accounts, the experiment was a staggering success. This wasn't a normal childhood. Imagine a boy learning ancient Greek at the age of 3, fluent in Latin by 8. By the time he was a teenager, he wasn't sneaking out to parties, he was mastering economic theory and debating philosophy at a level most professors could only dream of. He was a genius, a prodigy, engineered from birth for a single noble goal: to maximize well-being for himself and for the world. So, what happened to the man meticulously designed to be the happiest person on Earth? By age 20, he suffered a complete mental breakdown. He was paralyzed by a profound emptiness, writing that he felt like a hollowed-out shell. He became, in his own words, suicidal. And from the depths of that crisis, he wrote a conclusion that should send a chill down the spine of our entire self-help obsessed culture. He wrote, "Ask yourself whether you are happy, and you will cease to be so." But Mill's story isn't just a dusty footnote in history. It's a hyperbolic 19th century version of our own quiet struggle. We are the inheritors of his father's experiment. We're told constantly to chase happiness. Get the right job, find the right partner, hit the right income bracket, curate the perfect Instagram feed, and then, finally, you will have permission to be happy. Yet we're living inside a grand, modern paradox. We have more access to therapy, more mental health resources, more self-help books, podcasts, and gurus than any generation in human history. And still, rates of depression, anxiety, and loneliness are at all-time highs. We are running faster and faster on a treadmill that seems to be accelerating under our feet. It forces us to ask a brutal, uncomfortable question. Is our entire approach to happiness fundamentally flawed? And this question isn't just academic for me. A few years ago, I hit my own wall, a profound sense of confusion about what I was even chasing. My name is Sam, and what I want to share today isn't textbook theory. It's the framework that helped me rebuild my own understanding of a meaningful life. Peace, by painful peace. It starts with understanding that the word happiness itself is the first trap. The ancients knew something we've forgotten. Happiness isn't one thing. It's a portfolio. And if you want to build wealth, you need to understand the different asset classes. It's the same with well-being. Think of it as a portfolio with 3 distinct currencies. The first currency is affect, or pleasure. This is the day trading of your emotional world. It's high risk, high volatility. It's the fizz of champagne, the dopamine hit of a social media notification, the sugar rush of a dessert. Aristotle called this Hedonia. It feels great in the moment, but it's fleeting. Chasing this currency exclusively leads directly to what psychologists call the hedonic treadmill, a constant, exhausting need for the next high, the next purchase, the next experience, just to feel normal. The second currency is life satisfaction. This is the blue chip stock of your portfolio. It's a deeper, more stable sense of contentment with the overall direction of your life. It's the quiet pride you feel looking back at a project you completed, a skill you mastered, or a difficult promise you kept. Aristotle called this Eudaimonia, often translated as human flourishing. It's about building a life you are proud to have lived through virtuous action and personal growth. It's slow, steady, long-term growth. But the third currency is the bedrock. It's the foundational real estate that secures the entire portfolio, even in a market crash. This is meaning or purpose. This is the profound feeling that your life is connected to something larger than yourself. This currency is so powerful, it can exist even in moments of great displeasure. The sleepless nights spent caring for a newborn. The grueling years spent building a business from nothing. The sacrifice made for a cause you believe in. None of these are pleasurable in the moment, but they are deeply meaningful. The core mistake most of us make, the mistake baked into our modern culture, is that we try to build this portfolio backward. We chase affect, the fleeting pleasures, hoping it will add up to satisfaction, which we hope will somehow magically create meaning. But all the evidence, from ancient philosophy to modern psychology, shows we need to flip the script entirely. You don't find a meaningful life by pursuing pleasure. You experience pleasure as a natural byproduct of living a meaningful life. So, if chasing feelings is a dead end, what's the alternative? This leads us to the most powerful and counterintuitive shift in thinking. The most effective path to well-being isn't about finding happiness, it's about removing unhappiness. Let me repeat that. The goal is not to add positive feelings, it's to subtract negative ones. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer had a brilliant insight into this. He said, "We're conscious not of the healthiness of our whole body, but only of the little place where the shoe pinches." Think about that for a second. Right now, you are probably not aware of your perfectly functioning liver, your healthy lungs, or the billions of cells working in harmony to keep you alive. Your brain is designed to ignore all of that. But if you have a tiny paper cut on your finger or a single sore muscle, that's all you can feel. It hijacks your attention. The pain becomes your reality. Your life works the same way. That mountain of credit card debt, that toxic friendship that drains your energy, the chronic lack of sleep, these are the pinching shoes of your existence. Your brain is wired to obsess over them. True contentment isn't a mystical feeling you have to add into your life. It's the natural, peaceful state that remains when these obstructions are methodically removed. This isn't just philosophy. It's backed by decades of research that have given us a clear, evidence-based, and brutally honest formula for well-being. It's not what the self-help gurus on Instagram are telling you. It's called the 50-10-40 rule, and it's the closest thing we have to a unified theory of happiness. Here's how it breaks down. 50% of your baseline happiness is determined by genetics. This is your set point. It's inherited. Some people are just born with a sunnier disposition, a neurological talent for happiness. Others are born more prone to melancholy or anxiety. It's not fair, but it's the truth. Recognizing this is liberating. It means if you struggle to be cheerful, you're not broken. You might just be playing on a harder difficulty setting. Now, here's the most shocking part of the formula. Only 10% of your long-term happiness is determined by your life circumstances. This is the part we obsess over. It's your income once you're past the point of basic stability. It's how attractive you are. It's the city you live in. It's your social status and your follower count. All the things our society screams are the keys to the kingdom, they account for a mere 10% of the variance in human well-being. Why so little? Because of a powerful psychological phenomenon called hedonic adaptation. Your mind has a psychological immune system. Its job is to bring you back to your genetic baseline. When something good happens, you get a raise, you buy a new car, you move to your dream city, you get a temporary boost. But then your immune system kicks in. The new salary becomes your new normal. The new car is just what you drive to work. The dream city has traffic too. I want you to really picture this. Think of that luxury car. Day 1 is pure ecstasy. The smell of the leather, the roar of the engine. But by day 30, it's just your car, stuck in the same gridlock. By day 300, your joy is replaced by the sickening ka-ching of the first major maintenance bill. The pleasure depreciates fast. This is the 10% trap. It's the belief that I will be happy when I get the promotion, I lose the weight, I find the partner. It's a mirage in the desert. You spend your life sprinting towards it, only to find it vanishes the moment you arrive. But that brings us to the final, most hopeful part of the equation: 40%. This is where your power lies. 40% of your happiness is determined by your intentional, conscious actions. These are the consistent choices you make every single day. This is the territory you control. So, what are these miracle actions? They're not sexy, they're not quick fixes, but they are brutally effective. It's your physical health. The boring, unglamorous trifecta: getting 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, moving your body regularly, and eating real food. We treat exercise like a chore for vanity, but study after study shows it's one of the most potent antidepressants and anti-anxiety treatments on the planet. It's mindset practices, like practicing gratitude, not the cheesy kind, but the deliberate act of noticing what is going right, to counteract your brain's natural negativity bias. It's finding flow states, losing yourself in a challenging activity that absorbs your full attention, whether it's playing an instrument, coding, or gardening. It's altruism, spending your time, energy, and yes, even your money on other people. Research consistently shows that spending money on others generates a more lasting and meaningful boost in well-being than spending it on yourself. It's choosing experiences over things. That car depreciated in value, but the memory of a challenging hike with a close friend or a trip you took with your family, those memories appreciate over time. They become the stories you tell, the cornerstones of your identity. And then there's the biggest one of all. The one action that stands so far above the rest, it practically deserves its own category. It's the one that took the longest-running study on human development in history to prove beyond any doubt. In 1938, a team of researchers at Harvard began a monumental task. They decided to track the lives of 724 men from their teenage years all the way to their old age to find out what truly creates a good life. For over 80 years, they followed these men. Some became wealthy CEOs, some became bricklayers. One even became president of the United States. They tracked their health, their careers, their relationships, their failures, their deepest regrets. After 8 decades, after compiling millions of pages of data, the lead researcher of the study, Robert Waldinger, was asked to sum up the entire project's findings. All those decades of work, all those lives lived. What was the single biggest predictor of a long, healthy, and happy life? It wasn't wealth, it wasn't fame, it wasn't career success. He summed it up in 5 words. Happiness is love. Full stop. The quality of your relationships. That is the single most important component of the 40% you control. To make this real, think of 2 men from the study. Let's call one Adam and the other Leo. Adam was a brilliant lawyer from a wealthy background. He worked tirelessly, achieved immense career success, and was admired from afar. But his relationships were shallow. He was divorced, estranged from his children, and had few real friends. He died lonely and deeply unhappy, full of regret. Then there was Leo. Leo was a high school teacher. He never earned much money, he never became famous, he lived his whole life in the same small town. By society standards, he was boring. But Leo was deeply in love with his wife of 50 years. He was an active member of his local community. He mentored generations of students who adored him. He had a handful of friends he could truly count on. In his late 80s, Leo reported being intensely happy. He was surrounded by love. Full stop. That is the final, profound lesson. The foundation of a meaningful life, the core investment in your well-being portfolio, is people. It's the vulnerable, messy, time-consuming, and utterly essential work of building and nurturing high-quality relationships. So let's bring this all home. Let's create your new operating system for a good life. The pursuit of happiness is overrated. It's a fool's errand. The real goal is to build a life of meaning, and happiness will be the welcome guest that shows up at your door, uninvited. Your 80-20 strategy, the things that will make the biggest difference, is incredibly simple, but not easy. 1. Stop chasing feelings. Stop treating happiness as a goal to be achieved. Instead, pursue meaning and purpose. Ask yourself what you can contribute, not just what you can get. The good feelings will follow as a byproduct, not as the objective. 2. Remove the pain. Before you try to add a new fun thing to your life, conduct an honest audit. What is the shoe that pinches? Is it debt? A toxic relationship? A job that crushes your soul? Your primary focus should be on systematically eliminating these sources of chronic stress and misery. And 3. Invest in people. Look at the people in your life, your partner, your family, your friends. This is not the soft stuff, this is the work. It is the single greatest investment you can make in your long-term health and well-being. Make the call, send the text, plan the dinner. Do the hard, rewarding work of connection. We're building a brutally honest approach to life. Make sure you subscribe. We're building a space here for people who are tired of the easy answers. And frankly, content that challenges the mainstream, like this, can get lost in the noise. If you found this valuable, save it to a playlist. It's the best way to find your way back.